I'm going to talk to you guys today about something that I've seen help a lot of people who are struggling to turn their health habits around. So, whether you're looking to lose weight or maybe you're already at a good weight, but you know that your diet still sucks and you're feeling it, your energy levels are low, you're inflamed, you wake up sore, like all these things aren't normal for us to feel. And a lot of the times it's from what we're putting in our pie hole, right? Changing your food habits is really difficult. People who say it's not, they're lying to themselves or they're lying to you. I don't know, whatever. But I've been there, I've done it, and it's not easy. Sometimes it's better to add things to your routine than it is to take things away. So this isn't necessarily just with food. You can do this with anything if it's a healthy habit that you're trying to build. Hey, Christine. Hey, Chelsea. Hey, Star. Star, shouldn't you be in school right now, young lady? Okay, so how does this look for food? Instead of taking something away to start, add something to your plate. So if you pretty much just live on processed crap food and meat, maybe you add veggies. So you're like, okay, I'm not going to take anything away. I'm still going to let myself eat my ramen noodles that I like to snack on at night, but you can't have them until you've had a certain amount of vegetables that day. So you make yourself eat the good thing and then you eat the bad thing. Now, is that ideal? No, but this is a stepping stone. You don't need to get to where you're trying to be all in one day. And that's a big problem that I see, people try to change too much at once, and we're creatures of habit, and it's just too difficult for certain personality types. Other personality types, going all in works best for them. But if that's not you, then stop trying to do what worked for your best friend, because your brain may not work like your best friend's brain works, okay? So if you have tried and tried and tried, and that hasn't worked for you, add things in. Maybe you hate vegetables, and you literally don't eat any plant matter at all. Add some fruit. Make yourself eat a piece of fruit every day. Here's what happens when you start slowly making these changes. Let's say you eat only processed food right now. Your cravings are out of control because your body's starving. So there's that. You start adding good food to the mix. You're more full than you usually are, because processed food is typically junky carbohydrates. You get really full, you're grossly full, right? And then by the time that feeling goes away, you're ravenous and you're starving and your body wants more food because your sugar is all over the place. You start putting good things in your body, you're gonna not have those huge dips. You're still gonna have them because you're eating some of the processed food, but they're not gonna be as drastic. And you're gonna feel a little bit more full and more satisfied. You're going to maybe even start correcting some nutritional deficiencies, because if you're eating the standard American diet, you may be overfed, but still underfed. You're not getting the nutrients that your body needs to work properly. And it's like this vicious cycle that you get stuck in, where you crave junk food, your body's actually starving at a cellular level. So it's feed me more. And then you keep feeding it the same crap. So just add in some healthy things to start. And then you might be too full to eat your junk food later. If you eat a really great lunch full of lean, clean meats and healthy veggies, and maybe you have a snack that's fruit instead of a snack that's a Snickers bar, you probably aren't going to be as hungry for that 2 p.m. Snickers bar that you usually go and grab, because the food that you just ate is going to stick with you better. And your sugar's not going to crash and all this stuff. So by adding things in, you may slowly transition into actually not wanting the junk food as much. The other thing that happens, I grew up on junk food. I didn't eat any vegetables. Our vegetables were, and if you're watching this, Mom, I'm sorry, I love you. You didn't know better. This is how everybody cooked then. But our vegetables were canned green beans and canned corn and a potato for every meal, right? If there was canned green beans on the table, it was our healthy night, because it was usually some kind of a potato. Typically that came out of the Fry Daddy that lived on the counter. So I get it, you guys. Asparagus just became a thing for me 5 years ago. That's when it was invented in my mind, because I didn't eat stuff like that. Starting to like stuff like that is really hard. But if you start just adding things in one at a time, you develop a palate for it. That's the other cool thing that happens. So when you try a food, most people don't like a new food right away. Sometimes you have to try things 8 times before you start to develop a palate for it. And that's the whole concept of no thank you bites for kids. You don't really make them eat this pungent vegetable if they hate it and they're going to fight you, but you make them try it because they have to try it 8 times. Guess what? We have to do the same thing to ourselves as we do to kids if you were raised on the standard American diet. Getting over that junk food palate is no joke. And I get that. So slowly start to add some healthy things in. Do what you got to do to doctor them up at first just to get them in. You'll slowly start to like them. And then you can start eliminating some things, right? So instead of maybe having French fries be your vegetable at dinner, now you have some carrots. Or, you know what I mean? You start just kind of morphing this palate to it being healthier and healthier and healthier. And then it's not so overwhelming. Then it's something that you can stick with. Because honestly, if you're going to do something all in that you can only stick to for like 2 weeks because you hate it so much, then it's not going to work. Like, I don't care if you can like clean up your food and lose weight and feel really great for a month, but then at the end of a year's time, you're worse off than you were when you started, which is what usually happens to people. If you need to baby step, then baby step. Do an undiet. Add things in instead of taking them away, and then slowly transition. So hope that helps some of you who might be on the struggle bus like I once upon a time was. If you have any questions about doing this, feel free to reach out. Happy to help, whether or not you're on our program or not.